All right, GOTC newbies, let's talk about our outbuildings out here, okay? Um, so first off, we'll do in this video a quick overview of the med tents, the war camps, and your resource buildings. So throughout the game, you're only going to be able to build so many med tents and so many war camps, okay? It's easier to have them over here, the med tents and war camps, and then have all, fill these spaces with the resources like your farms and sawmills and stone quarries and iron. So let's talk about med tents. Med tents are important because once you start training troops, if you get attacked or you're hunting creatures, whatever you're doing, um, once your med tent holds your wounded, right? Um, and it shows you that the wounded capacity of this level 2 med tent is 1,000 soldiers. So if I was to go train 1,000 soldiers, troops, of any kind and send them out into battle, and I hurt more than 1,000 of them, anything over 1,000 is going to die. So your med tent capacity is really important. You can see as you level up the individual med tents, you can build up to 8 of them, I believe. I think it's 8 total. So you see that depending on the level shows how many wounded troops it'll hold. So you really, really, really want to try and push these med tents up a bit, and keep, try and keep them high enough to hold as many of your troops as possible. So your higher tier troops are given priority over your lower tier troops in the med tents. So if you got some high level troops, like say you've already got T6 troops trained, which are still baby troops, but for this purpose, and then you've got T1 troops, then your sixes are going to go in here before the lower troops and fill up these tents. So if you have T8s, you want to make sure that, your med tents are up high enough where you can protect your marches, at least your primary marches of your T8s, if something happens and you get a whole lot of wounded, because as soon as it gets full to whatever they can hold total, everything else dies. And you can't heal it. You just lose it altogether. And it's cheaper to heal troops than it is to retrain them once they die. So that's your med tent overview. And then we'll move to war camps. Your war camps are crucially important because they really help. Right now you can see that at a level 2 med tent, my training speed has a +2, and it's adding 8 more soldiers or troops that I can train. So that means with that, I can train 8 more than the base level of the barracks. So the barracks would let me train 3 troops. And then because I have 1 war tent that is a level 2 that can train 8 troops, then if I go over here to train my troops, there's another buff somewhere else that's adding more there. But, it kind of depends on what you can do. The more war camps you have out here when you go to build, the more troops you can train at a time, the higher your training capacity is. So war camps, boosts, getting those up higher so that you can train more troops at a time is important in a war game. Having the med tents to hold your wounded so that all your troops don't die, those are important. The farms and sawmills, and stone quarries, iron, they're going to produce a certain amount per their level. You can see that this one will make 180 food an hour, and that it'll be full when it gets to the 1800. And then I have this green here, which means I've done something else that's making it where it can hold an additional 1,800 food. So the little thing that I collected and clicked on, that will hold that total amount. The higher your farm goes, the more food it makes every hour under the food income, and the more it can store up for you to collect. Same principle for sawmills. So these are basically free resources, all in all. They're always making some. They'll hold a certain amount based on how high they are. Same for stone quarries, iron. In order to upgrade your barracks, you're always going to have to upgrade a war camp. In order to upgrade your range, you're always going to have to upgrade a sawmill. To upgrade your maester's tower, you're always going to have a med tent upgraded. To upgrade an iron mine, you're going to have to upgrade a stone quarry. And things like certain upgrades will require you to have one of these leveled up. So that's kind of your outbuildings in a nutshell. So you really want to focus on leaving enough spaces to have the maximum possible amount of war camps that you can build, and the maximum amount of med tents. Those are your priority buildings out here. Don't fill up, every single slot you have with farms and sawmills and stone quarries and iron mines before you really have been able to max out your maximum amount of war camps and med tents. Those are 10 times more important than your resource buildings will ever be. So that's an overview of the types of outbuildings that you can build out here. And so best of luck to you on your journey. Keep those med tents and war camps leveled up. Make the troops and save the troops. This is Mistress Yoda signing out.